Hey, ladies and gentlemen, happy Friday. It is Friday, February 24th. This is studentloanjustice.org live stream. My name is Alan Collins. That light is really bright. I got a ring light that's just way too bright. Hope everybody is doing well out there in the world today. If you're new to the group, welcome. We are the oldest, largest, first, only, mostly, totally, truly grassroots group in the country fighting only and absolutely for student loan justice. So we're glad that you found us, guys. We've been around here for 18 years now. So if it sounds like I'm on autopilot sometimes, it's because I am, because I've said these things so many fucking times over and over and over again. It's true. So anyways, if you are new to the group, you probably don't know a lot about student loans. So we try and keep it really simple because student loans just suck. And I think nearly everybody knows that, but they don't really understand why. So if you have any questions or comments, there are no stupid questions or comments. Feel free to ask if you're watching us live on Facebook or Twitter. We try to do these things pretty regularly at 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays are a little bit up in the air right now. Our fearless co-leader, Ed, usually has that slot, but he decided it's just too much, and he's sorry. No, he'll be back at some point, but he's taking a years long deserved break, like many years long deserved break, as the new year begins and gets into full stride. We're getting towards the end of February now. That's crazy. Okay. So a couple of announcements. We're going to be in Los Angeles on March 1st. If you are in Los Angeles on March 1st and you want to come check us out at 7 p.m. Pacific time, we will be giving a talk to the Jewish Free Loan Association at a particular location that is... It's towards the north end of Sepulveda Boulevard, but it's up the 405. It's just north of the Getty Center on the 405, so it's a good bit west of the sort of top part of Sepulveda before you hit the hills there. I know it's flooding big time in California right now, and I think it's going to be super duper rainy there all the way through to the time that I get there. So we'll see how that goes, but hey, I love it when it rains in Southern California myself. So if you would like to come to that event, we can get you in for free. It's normally like a $25 admission, or maybe even $35. I'm not sure. But we can certainly get you in for free, and let us know. Next announcement, dudes, please donate. I've just got to hit this very hard. Like our existence kind of hangs on things lately. We knew this year was going to start out rough. Every January, February is always very, very, very tough for us on fundraising. But guys, we can do what we do on very little money. We cannot do it on absolutely nothing. And I don't know what to tell you. We have pending bills that have to be paid by like Monday of like over $300. We just got another $360 bill in today for fucking last month's electricity bill. Like, if you knew how I lived here in northern Wisconsin, you'd be like, what? I've got one little tiny room that's part of a bigger, sort of a larger structure. The whole entire structure is frozen solid in the winter. It's just this one little tiny room that I keep heated. So it's like one space heater and like a few light bulbs. So how can you even possibly ring up $360 in a month on that? That's just nonsense. But apparently I found a way. So dudes, just let me dial it in for you. Please donate if you would. Right now we need something like around 15 people to donate $20 or more. Thanks to everybody who's been pitching in lately, by the way. I cannot tell you how important you are towards keeping this little tiny organization even in existence. And for a very tiny organization, think about what we got done over the past 2 years. It was this group that started the whole concept of canceling student loans by executive order. I kid you not. Do a Google News search for student loan cancellation and by executive order, and you'll see that the very first media report ever to even ask the question of whether the president can cancel loans is a Vice News interview that we did in August 2019. And it was our petition that launched that whole thing into the public conversation in March 2020. Moreover, it's because of this group that very good bankruptcy legislation was introduced into both the House and the Senate last session and the session before that. And, I could go back 18 years, not sort of pointing out all the feathers that we have in our cap and stuff, but suffice it to say, this group is way more important than it may appear from my tattered hat and so forth. It's a purposely tattered hat, by the way. This is like on purpose. So dudes, just please donate so I can shut up about it. I mean, truly, if you think this group is worth anything to keep around, to fight only and absolutely for student loan borrowers, no other bullshit, then just come on, help out. Okay, so I'm looking for your questions, comments, editorial opinions, or otherwise right now on both Facebook and Twitter. Maybe one other quick announcement. We're looking for state chapter leaders, guys. We've got state chapter leaders for maybe over half the states, I'd say. But there's some really important states out there that we do not have state chapter leaders for right now. One that I'm thinking of in particular is Florida. That's like the second, if not first, worst state in the country, depending on how you look at it. We would like a state chapter lead for Florida. And so, if you feel you've got the passion in your belly, and you live in Florida, and you want to lead the state chapter, let me know. I mean, it's not, and this is true for many of the state chapters, regardless of which state chapter, which state you live in. If you want to step up and lead your state, I'd be very happy to hear from you. Send me an email, Alan, ALAN, @studentloanjustice.org. And we can have co-leaders. We can have more than one leader, assuming they get along pretty good and stuff like that. It's not the job is as easy or difficult as you want to make it. I would hope that you would make it sort of difficult, but the bare minimum duties are just adminning our Facebook group for your state chapter. So knock out the spam, get rid of the spam, or maybe other bad people. You have to keep it non-partisan. That's very important. You can't go into other issues. You got to focus like a laser beam on student loans. And if people start talking about immigration or abortion or gun control or whatever else, you have to nip that at the bud. You got to keep it focused to student loan justice. And what that means is two things. Number one, and we're all for student loan cancellation because of all the stuff I said before. So make no mistake. All the loans should be canceled. Most of the loans will absolutely be canceled. It's just a question of when and how. But the primary thing we're fighting for is the return of bankruptcy protection to student loans, guys. Nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. I get that. The stripping of bankruptcy rights lies at the core of this entire problem. The founding fathers called for uniform bankruptcy laws, thus rights, ahead of the power to declare war in the Constitution. We've got to get our bankruptcy rights back. Unless and until that happens, guys, we can be begging Joe Biden or Donald Trump or whoever the next president is forever to do things like cancel loans, or who knows. Maybe you want a break on interest. Maybe you want some other negotiated settlement for your student loans. I'm here to tell you guys, none of that's going to happen until we, the people, have the leverage of bankruptcy returned to us as it exists for every other type of loan in this fucking country. Pardon my French. I love this country, but right now I hate this government, and right now I personally cannot stand either political party. It's disgusting what both the Republicans and the Democrats have done to us over the years. It's just disgusting. The Republicans basically hate us, and they're not afraid to say so. The Democrats say they like us, but when it comes to very important things, like passing very important legislation last session when the Democrats had control of the House and the Senate and the presidency, yeah, they pulled the rug out from under us. They betrayed us. So I don't know which is worse. Kind of a good cop, bad cop thing. But suffice it to say, whatever your political stripes may be, you're very welcome on this group. Our group is roughly an even split between Democrats and Republicans and independents, those two things together. So a few more Democrats. That's just kind of how the world rolls. That's how the nation is generally anyways. But yeah, half of our group are either Republican or independent. So as I said, we like to keep things focused only on student loans. We try not to talk about the other issues because all that does is divides us, and that is exactly why the partisan divide exists, to divide us. And we're not doing that, guys. We don't do that. So as long as you're on board with getting bankruptcy return student loans and getting student loans canceled, those two things that we fight for, you're very welcome on this group. We're glad you're here, and please tell a friend. Student loans canceled. Those two things that we fight for. This group is you're very welcome on this group. This group is way important, like very important, like way more, even historically important at this point, than certainly you would surmise at first glance. But we get shadow banned and blackballed and ignored in the mainstream media all the time, in the media and on social media. So word of mouth is really the only and best weapon we have on our side that they can't take away. So please use that weapon and tell everybody you know about this group. We're the only group, so truly, and this is a scary thing, but we are the only group fighting this battle as it actually needs to be fought. We can go do a protest at the Supreme Court calling on Biden to cancel student loans and blah, blah, blah. It's all nonsense, guys. That $10,000 loan cancellation was doomed to fail in the first place. Like, we should be proud of that thing because just having a sitting president announcing a student loan cancellation by executive order, that indeed started with our group and the people I see on this group who got our petition up to 1.2 million signatures and got us featured on every major media outlet that you can imagine. So we don't always get screwed by the media, just like 90% of the time. We get lucky with the media every so often. That'll start with this group, guys. And you have a lot to be proud of, but I'm here to tell you guys, as a practical matter, this Biden student loan cancellation is a joke. Biden never wanted to cancel loans, does not now want to cancel loans, and the people at the Department of Education absolutely never intended or desired, nor do they now intend to or desire to cancel student loans by executive order. That's the last thing they want to do. Nobody in Washington, D.C. gets paid anything when they simply write off loans. Like, no money has to come from the Treasury. Not even a dime is added onto the national debt. So that gives the people in Washington, D.C. no currency, no walking around monies. Oh, Treasury, give us some money so we can cancel student loans. That's the way the Department of Education and the student loan swamp would like to cancel loans. If they go through Congress, you have to pay for student loan cancellation. So, and it's the most disgusting thought in the world to cancel $1.566 trillion, $1.566 trillion in federally owned student loans through Congress. You have to take $1.566 trillion from the Treasury. You have to add $1.5 trillion to the national debt. And you got to take those pallets upon pallets of printed money, and you have to give all that money to the Department of Education. They love that. They would like nothing more than to cancel all student loans and be paid $1.566 trillion in cash right now, so they can spend it on themselves, give themselves bonuses, throw it around Washington, D.C., buy second or third homes or whatever they do. And that is disgusting. It doesn't need to be that way. The loans can be canceled tomorrow with none of that money changing hands, not even a dime changing from one hand to another. You simply delete it off the books. Not one penny is needed from Treasury. Not one nickel is added to the national debt. And that is exactly what needs to happen. The student loan swamp, the people in Washington, D.C., that is their worst nightmare. So these lawsuits that we see in the Supreme Court right now, they're a fucking farce. It may as well be the Department of Education suing itself. Is Biden going to win? How's the case going to go? I don't know. If I had to guess, I'd say Biden will lose the case. And quite frankly, I think they they premise that cancellation on bad law in the first place. I mean, the HEROES Act does give the president authority to cancel loans time of an emergency, but I just don't see why they used that law when they could have easily simply pointed to the Higher Education Act. In fact, this was law that was drafted going back to the 50s, where the secretary, commissioner in the 50s, soon to become the secretary of education, is given full, broad, unambiguous, very broad authority to cancel, to waive, compromise, release the student loan debt. So that cancellation nonsense is just, it's manufactured. The student loan swamp manufactured it. So whichever way that case goes, we lose. We, the borrowers, lose. You know, if Biden does cancel the loans, 10 grand is nothing. 10 grand is just stupid. Yeah, it will free, it's true that it will free 19 or 20 million people of their student loan debt, but those are people who, if you owe less than $10,000 in student loans, you're not losing sleep. If you owe $100,000 or more on student loans, which is, I think, probably most by a lot of the people on our group, $10,000 doesn't do much for you. If you owe $300,000-$400,000 in student loans, even though maybe originally you only borrowed maybe $20,000-$30,000, yeah, it's kind of like, well, you may as well just add $10,000 onto my debt. And remember also, if Biden has allowed this cancellation, he'll never do anything again for us. It'll become much harder for us to get bankruptcy rights back, if not impossible. So whichever way that goes, dudes, we lose. And you know, I couldn't even really say what I want to happen. I actually don't really care what happens. Might be better for this group if maybe even they lost the case, but you know what, guys, I'm just not even doing it. I'm not doing it. I've been doing this for far too many years, and I can see fake, artificial, manufactured controversies from a mile out, and that's what this is. And we're just not buying into it, guys. The core of this thing lies in returning bankruptcy rights to the loans. It always has, and it still does now. And I know nobody wants to file for bankruptcy out there, guys. Let me just stop you in your tracks right there, because I know that's what you're thinking. If you're new to the group, nobody wants to file for bankruptcy. It's a terrible thing to have to do. But unless and until we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned, nothing good is going to happen. When we get the leverage of bankruptcy returned, the president, I don't care if it's a Republican or a Democrat, they're going to have to cancel loans very broadly, very widespread, very meaningfully, maybe even totally. You know, this lending system is such a catastrophe at this point. 85% of all borrowers were never going to be able to pay. 60% of all borrowers had stopped paying before COVID. Think about that, 60%. That's nearly 2/3 of all borrowers had stopped paying before the pandemic. So whenever they try and turn these loans back on, it's just not going to happen. So I hope that, if you just think about it a little bit, you'll kind of get it. If you go to our Medium, platform, you just browse our articles right there, and read them. By the way, these are very educational articles. They will blow your mind. Some of the research discoveries that we made in those articles are jaw-dropping, and everybody needs to know about it, but very few of those headlines have been reported. I think Business Insider and a couple other places broke the story that we published about student loan debt exceeding the entire state budgets of many states. That's true, but there's many other headlines there that should be, I mean, they're way more important than the state budget story, and reporters should be reporting on it. But higher education reporters are, I'm sorry, but they're just a bunch of cowards. You know, where's the Seymour Hersh of higher education reporting? I'm not seeing him. I can name the decent higher education reporters on like maybe 2 fingers, I'd say, like maybe 3 fingers, and they haven't written about student loans in quite some time. So anyways, guys, in many ways, we're all that we've got, but in many other ways, in the most important ways, we're all that we need. So spread the word about this group. If you go to our Medium platform, look for the article that says something about bankruptcy is critical or something, and read that article. And it'll give you a historical, it'll give you a very good, simple, easy to understand perspective. It's not that everybody wants to run out and file for bankruptcy. That's the last thing anybody wants to do. Just having the threat of bankruptcy back on our side is absolutely what must happen. So, hey, I see we have quite a few comments here. I'm going to try to get through a few of them. I'm going to be out of here in the next 4 minutes, so I promise. I always say that, and it never happens, but I promise. I pinky swear this time. Pinky swear, whatever that is. Hey, Leslie Fishman is with us tonight. Hey, Leslie in New York. Paying last month's bills with next month's paycheck. The American, yeah, right. Like my electric bill. The American dream. Hey, Leslie also says, many thanks to Jackie Abram tonight. Someone has been hacking the New York chapter. Much love. I don't think Jackie hacked the thing, but I don't think that's what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. But yeah, I would say thank you, Jackie, for many, many, many things. You know, Jackie is down there in Texas, one of the most important states in the country on this. It's very bad people in there and potentially some very strong allies. Senator John Cornyn is actually a friend of ours, a Republican ally that we have. And it's very rare that I'm able to say that. But in general, Texas is a very difficult state for us. And Jackie is in there just with both fists swinging, and she's just a force of nature on Twitter. It's beautiful to watch. So yeah, guys, I said 4 minutes, right? Okay, I promise. I said 4 minutes. That's true. I'm going to be out of here within 4 minutes. I will be back on Sunday, and hopefully I'll have a better song for you to play for you guys. But I will be back on Sunday. Stay tuned, guys. And if you ever need anything to do, you can always go to our website and you can always do our daily actions. We do like 2 to 3 daily actions per week. If you were to do the past 2 weeks worth of our daily actions, it would probably take you maybe a half an hour, not even that long, maybe. You got to have a Twitter account. That would be very, very helpful. They're very simple and quick. You can do a daily action in like 2 minutes, sometimes less. But jump on it, guys. There's true power in numbers. And we've got a massive muscle to flex when you get off your ass. This is a working, fighting group. This is not a sit on the sidelines, eat popcorn, and cheer Alan and Leslie and Jackie on as we pull your weight for you. That's not what this is. We're not here for your entertainment. These are your loans. This is your problem. You got to get your knuckles dirty and maybe even a little bloody in this fight with us, because your house is on the line. Your financial livelihood hangs in the balance of whether we succeed or whether we don't. And the only way we're going to succeed is when you sitting there help. You're not better than us. We have Harvard freaking graduates on this thing, and they're not better than us either. Nobody's better than us. But especially you. You can't expect us to pull your weight for you. We cannot do that. Only you can pull your own weight. And that's the reality. And other groups on the internet may blow smoke up your ass. Oh, no, you don't have to do any actual work. Just sit back and relax and watch us. And yeah, they're going to hypnotize you into getting your loans consolidated or rehabilitated. You're going to sign up with a debt coach. That's fucking ridiculous. The other groups are just out to lunch. Totally. So you're always going to hear the truth on this group, the unadulterated truth, no matter who gets offended. It's the way we've always been. It's the way we will always be as long as I'm around. And I hope you can appreciate that fact. So the very last thing I'll say tonight, again, but I said at the top, dudes, please donate so that we can actually exist. It's kind of come to that, guys. And I know I have a smirk or a smile on my face. But that's actually true. Like, I don't think we're going to exist in like a month. We're going to fold at the rate that we don't need a lot of money to do this, guys. Like a couple thousand a month, we can make that work. But we cannot do it on nothing, guys. So show some love. So good luck, everyone. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys on Monday night. Or no, I'll see you guys on Sunday night. Godspeed. And God bless everyone.
Hey, 26 minutes. Yay.